master chef, live life with no.
All right, how y'all doing? This is Mongo Slate. So let's talk about the Hurt Business. So Hurt Business made their way onto Raw by walking and looking fly while doing it. They looked straight out of one of those movies from the 60s, like Three the Hard Way or something like that. I don't know if you guys like ever, even if you're not black, you should really sit down. Like Three the Hard Way is a terrible movie. It really is. It's like Fred Williamson. It is also the karate guy. Oh shit. His name is on the tip of my tongue, but it's a movie called Three the Hard Way. It features three black dudes as action stars. Fred Williamson started making a bunch of those movies. I like the name more than I like the movie. I think Jim Brown is in that movie too, if I remember correctly. But I'm trying to remember the name of the karate guy. I think his name is Kelly, something Kelly. Jim Kelly. There we go. Jim Kelly. So, but that's kind of how the Hurt Business, when they come out, that's kind of what I think. I think of Three the Hard Way. I think of, the movies like Where My Name Comes From and all of those black exploitation movies like Superfly and stuff like that. Like, I love the Hurt Business. So they come in and they run into, of course, Riddle, who's talking to Lucha House Party, and Riddle starts being annoying, obviously. He's talking about the way the Hurt Business dresses and how fly they are, and, he said, I'm going to take the high road. And Sheldon was like, of course you would. So Sheldon Benjamin says that nobody's going to call you Slobby Bobby in a dress like that. And so Bobby tells the rest of the boys, like, look, I got this handle. I'm going to talk to Riddle. Riddle is, standing there, and Bobby says, I like the sandals, but they're really bad for your feet. And he's like, oh no, my feet are fine. And then Bobby Lashley stomped, quote unquote, the foot of Matt Riddle. Now, this, of course, made a big deal around the internet because the camera guy basically exposed the business, right? The camera guy exposed that Lashley's foot was nowhere near Riddle's foot. And, of course, Riddle sold it anyway, not knowing that the camera guy blew the shot. So, Riddle went down, who supposedly, that Lashley stomped his foot, which sucks. It sucks when people expose the business, but it is what it is. Botchamania has existed for 15 years now or something like that. People make their entire living off of looking for things to make fun of wrestling about, which is really strange. Like wrestling fans who live to make fun of wrestling. But I guess it's just a blooper reel video, so I really shouldn't be too upset about it. So later in the evening, Riddle is sort of, talking about his foot and how his foot hurts. And Lucha House Party's like, well, are you going to actually be able to perform? Like, are you going to be able to go? And then Riddle tells some shit about, his foot getting run over. And, when he got his foot run over and he still made it to prom, I was like, what the hell is he talking about? What is this? What's anything got to do with anything? But Riddle's just being like this idiot, and he's being like really annoying. And I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I think it had some charm to it at first when they were doing the bro nuts and stuff like that. But now he just comes across like an absolute dude, where's my car kind of guy. And I hated that fucking movie. That fucking movie sucks. So we get the Hurt Business, Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander, and Lashley versus Riddle and Lucha House Party. So, and the first thing I wrote is this match should have opened the show. This should have been the first match because you had Lucha House Party in it and you had Matt Riddle in it. And these guys work a crowd-pleasing style. They should have opened the show. Cedric, so the story of this match was essentially Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander not getting along. They were not getting along. So at one point, Cedric is winning the match and he's talking shit to Shelton for no reason. Shelton wanted to tag in, and Cedric didn't want him didn't want to tag out. Even though Lashley told Cedric to tag out, he still didn't tag out. Later on, Cedric is trying to tag out, and Shelton Benjamin wouldn't tag him, and Lashley told him to go keep fighting. And then Shelton at one point back tags Cedric Alexander to get in the ring. Cedric wouldn't leave the ring. Then even later, they get into an argument, and Shelton Benjamin shoved Cedric Alexander out of the ring. And Cedric Alexander was pretty pissed about getting shoved outside of the ring. Eventually, this match was pretty good, but Lucha House Party basically and Riddle basically hung in there because the Hurt Business was fighting. And eventually, Lashley got sick of this shit. He took over the match and tapped out Grand Metalik and won the match, which is, weird. So after the match, we really don't get much in the way of what to do next, other than the Hurt Business are sort of arguing. Shelton is arguing with Cedric Alexander, and they've been building up this beef for a long time between the two of them, and hopefully they're not going to break up the Hurt Business. Maybe it's just some dissension to add some character to these guys and give them something going forward. Could this lead to a Rock situation or an Evolution situation? Maybe. I think that's probably the best way to go about it. But it might make more sense for MVP to side with Cedric on this. I don't see how do you do it, because Shelton is their boy, and Cedric seems to be the problem because he's the one running his mouth and he's not even listening to Lashley. Now, it'd be different if he's listening to Lashley. He's following Lashley's directives. That would be different. But he's not even following Lashley's directives. So Cedric Alexander is a problem. He's going to get his ass kicked. I mean, everybody can see that. I'm coming a mile away. He went to Hurt Business boot camp and still came out an asshole. So I don't know. I like Lucha House Party, man. I like that they're using them more on Raw. I just hate that they keep doing this up and down shit with them where they lose and there seems to be nothing gained from them losing. There seems to be nothing gained from them winning. They just seem to be stuck in the same spot. Same thing with Riddle. Like, why is Riddle still feuding with the Hurt Business? He lost. Like, one of the things that make Raw incredibly boring is the repetition. Seeing the same versions of the same things every single fucking week. Like, Riddle shouldn't be in this same position with the Hurt Business. And it was crazy that it was announced that they were going to fight before they fought. But it's like, Riddle got beat. He lost. Like, what more is there to go on? Like, and he didn't just lose, he got dominated. So Riddle should be moving on. Riddle should have to go do something else. This should have been somebody else's spot. It should be, okay, we're going to the next contender for the U.S. title, and that should have been the difference here. That also should be one of the things that I want to talk about is that should have been the reason why they lost. It should have been Lucha House Party plus some new challenger, against the Hurt Business, and the Hurt Business were arguing and fighting, and the new challenger won. It could have been Angel Garza, Hector, Humberto Carrillo, somebody, and just give a surprise win. And then that guy is the next guy that's going to stand up to fight Lashley. And that would have been cool. It would have been something new. It would have been something different. You would have had to force you to do something different with Riddle. But now he's just kind of stuck. Everyone's just stuck in place. It's like they're encased in fucking amber. Somebody, I'm not doing a video on this, but somebody from Inside the Ropes, they said that every week since December the 14th, Shayna Baszler has fought either Mandy Rose or Dana Brooke. So that's for a month. 4 straight fucking weeks. Shayna Baszler has fought Dana Brooke or Mandy Rose or both of them every single week. And I feel like Lashley's been going on with Riddle for about as long. And it feels like it's not going anywhere. It's not elevating. It's not going to the next level. Riddle is still being silly. Even though he attacked Lashley and Cedric Alexander and all these guys after the match, and but they were focused on arguing with each other. Like, all the fucking heels hate each other. I said this is one of the things where that your show is in disarray is when the heels aren't even getting along. When you start booking angles where the heels are arguing with heels, then that you're not doing anything. Also, you had Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax arguing. They're fighting each other. They're constantly bickering. Like, there are no heel teams. Even Miz and Morrison, they're bickering. Everybody's arguing. All of the heels are arguing on Raw. Nobody's on. Well, the Retribution was the only ones, and hell, that's because Mustafa Ali was yelling at them. Elias and Jackson Riker bickering. All of the heels are arguing on Raw. That's because the show is in fucking disarray. They don't know what to do. They won't build any fucking baby faces. They won't do something as simple as some guy comes out and saves another one. Somebody else stands up to this horrible villain. They just won't do something as simple as that. So instead of trying to create conflict by having a strong hero fight a strong villain, they just have the strong villains fight each other because they've cut the nuts off of all the fucking heroes. Jeff Hardy is Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy's in the middle of a storyline with fucking Elias, and Elias and Jackson Riker are arguing with each other. They don't have heat with Jeff Hardy, they have heat with each other. Like, that's so stupid. Like, Shayna Baszler beats Mandy Rose for the 1 millionth fucking time straight, and she's arguing with Nia Jax. What the fuck? Just fight Nia Jax then. Like, this is the kind of stuff that really shows me that the show is in such disarray. That's why I don't believe that the Hurt Business are really going to break up. I don't believe they're going to break up the Hurt Business. They just don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're just going to have, like, we need to have some conflict. So the heels are just going to argue with each other. And then when we find somebody strong enough, they're going to unite and fight them again. It's like, come on, this is stupid. This is stupid. But you don't know how to book. You don't know how to put things together. You just have, a lot of infighting, a lot of bickering. Like, they do this in, like, cartoons and stuff, right? When there's no villain around, they just have the heroes arguing with each other. I forget what cartoon was that. But they do that shit all the time. In animes and stuff like that, when the villain is not around, usually the heroes are at each other's throats. Dragon Ball is one of those things, right? When Vegeta was an antagonist, he wasn't exactly a villain anymore. He's an antagonist. He existed to cause conflict with the other characters, and that was because they didn't have any villains to play off of. So they just basically used Vegeta and his bad attitude, or they use Piccolo or somebody like that as a way to create conflict. And that's pretty much what they're doing in these stories with these heels, is they don't know what to do. So they're just creating conflict. They did this horrible Miz TV segment, and it ends with Miz and Morrison arguing in the middle of it. It's like, this is the worst shit in the world. There is nobody for me to cheer for. I don't like Miz. And you're putting John Morrison in a position where I don't like him either. And now you're going to have them bickering and arguing. Who am I supposed to cheer for in this debate, in this conversation? Elias and Jackson Riker is the same thing. They're talking about they're going to teach Jeff Hardy the universal truth. I don't even know what that means. So, like, this is stupid. I don't believe they're going to break up the Hurt Business. I think they just don't know what the fuck they're doing. It's poor writing. You don't know what you're doing. You're creating bullshit conflict because you don't want to use the people that you have to create some real fucking conflict. It's a crisis of conflict on Raw, and that's probably gonna be one of the titles for this video, because this essentially encapsulates all of my other problems. Is you have I'm not on every segment from Raw. Because most of the segments are just going to be fucking heels. It is a crisis of conflict. They don't know what to do because they don't want to use any of the baby faces. Maybe because they think they're too strong. They think Lashley is too strong, or they think the faces are too weak. They're not strong enough. Instead of building them, they're just jobbing them the fuck out like they did with Ricochet. It's like, instead of body, they basically just having Lashley beat him, and then his heat is all going towards what the Hurt Business is doing. The Hurt Business is falling apart because they don't know what else to do. They don't have anybody to fight, so they might as well fight each other. They don't have no tag teams to fight, so that's stupid. And here we are. It's not even like heels are fighting heels from a different group, like when Retribution and the Hurt Business were fighting. They're literally fighting their own partners. Like 4 different storylines are going on where guys are fighting their own fucking partners. This is stupid. It's stupid. But Well, never mind. Spread the good word of 3 Count Commentaries. Feel free to take the $1 challenge and send me $1 through Cash App if you appreciate what I do. That's my little tip jar. Hit me with the like button if you please. Also, hit the subscribe button. I would appreciate that too. Thank you guys for your time, and I'll talk to you guys later.
What could be sweeter than you?